Hoka, hey, Alita Army. Welcome to the Alita Livestream of April the 22nd, 2022. Which version of Alita is the best waifu? Where we discuss all things to do with the movie Alita Battle Angel, the source manga Gundam, and the greatly desired sequels. I am your host, the Muskogee Creek from actually Littleton, Colorado. And with me is Lee. He is from Fountain, Colorado, here in the U.S. So how's it going, Lee?
Pretty good. Howdy.
Cool. So, yeah, we were talking just a little bit before the stream about how the weather is kind of warmed up here in the U.S. In Colorado, it's in the 80s. So it's kind of weird since last week it was in the 30s. So that would be Fahrenheit for all you folks in Europe and in Australia. So anyway, we got a kind of a neat little discussion to talk about here. We've kind of done similar streams to this, not quite like this, I guess. But there's been an argument for quite a while in the Alita Army amongst several about who is the best waifu in terms of comparing Alita to other characters, such as Android 18. Our buddy Den likes to. For a while, he used to try to, have his butt heads, Angelus and I, with him in terms of, who's better, Android 18 or Alita as a waifu. And of course, we always say Alita's a better waifu. And then he always said, that Android 18 is the better waifu. Hello out there, Max Tac Jirai. Glad to see you out there in the chat. It's also good to see David Alexandra out there. That's pretty good. He's from France. I think it's France, isn't it, David? I'm not sure about that. So, and we're glad all you folks are here so we can have a really good discussion about this. I guess, to get into this a little bit, the way we're going to approach this is we're going to look at Alita in 10 different bodies. Now, you remember we've had this kind of brought this up before in the, I guess it was the trivia contest we had several months ago about how many bodies Alita has embodied itself. And of course, we came up with the number 10. And the reason why we're going to approach it this way is because, Alita, her personality, her perspective on things, how she acts, that kind of thing, it kind of differs from body to body. I mean, certainly in her body, she's a warrior for sure. She's actually a warrior in all the bodies, but so much more, I would say, in the body. And then, of course, in the doll body, as you can see there in that leftmost picture there in the frame, is that she's more of a teenage girl, probably 14 years old or something like that. And her outlook, and of course, is a combination of things. Certainly, her being embodied in that particular doll body, it kind of affects her brain, I guess, the way she is wired, I guess you could say it, with her into her core and that kind of thing. She tends to look at things as a 14-year-old sometimes, although she does get flashes of memory as we've seen in the movie. From when she was in her body and maybe possibly other bodies that is actually documented there in the in the Mars Chronicles. In the Berserker body, she's more like I would say to start out, she's probably like 17 years old, and as time progresses, she gets to be 19. And in terms of her maturity, not her age, because certainly the movie doesn't cover years, that's for sure. But just her maturity level seems to change pretty rapidly, I guess, as she gets more and more accustomed to the Berserker body. In my opinion, and I think Maxie out there disagrees with me a little bit on this, but that's okay. It's we all love Alita, and it's okay to have different views of her. But I think she's in her early 20s, possibly 23. In her Berserker body on the supply tube with Hugo. In her motorball body, we're not real sure about that. It would stand to reason if whether she's 19 or 23 in that Berserker body at the end of that part of it and gets a motorball body, you would think that she would probably be that same age, but I think it's like anywhere from 6 weeks to 2 months, that she has been training for the second league tryout, or not second league tryout, I'm sorry. She's been playing in the second league. And actually, I think in the second league is actually several months, because I think the announcer at the end of the movie mentioned that in only a matter of a few months, she's climbed up to the top of the second league, and now she's a second league champion in the movie. The manga is a little bit different, and that's okay. She certainly has had a civilian body. That was the body she was in when she was playing, keyboards and I guess guitar, perhaps, in the Kansas bar. And in her tuned body, I misspelled tuned. Look at that. Tunned, in her tunned body. No, it's her tuned body. That's the body she had, after I guess she was conscripted by Zalem to be in the tuned program. And, she's progressing in age. I don't know how old. That's strictly in the manga. Certainly, we hope to see a lot of that in that sequel we're going to get, and possibly even the series that I guess that Robert Rodriguez is going to pitch, if not having done so already. For an Alita series. And then, of course, she's had 3 Imaginos bodies. That would be version 1.0, version 2.0, and version 2.1. And she's even got a human body. And there's a couple of places where you see that. There's a little side story at the end of this, I believe it's the second volume of the book set of the original manga, where I guess figure 4, she comes out in that flower thing. I'm not real sure about how that was, but anyway, she comes out that flower thing and she's nude, which is pretty cool, I think. And figure 4 certainly finds her, and that's kind of a neat little romantic reunion right there on that one. And then at the end of the last order, and I'm not going to go into too much detail here because I don't want to spoil it. Certainly everybody on this stream has probably read all of the manga, but just in case there's 1 or 2 out there that hasn't, she does have a human body at the end of the last order, and it's kind of a twist, so you need to read it to really get the context of it. And howdy, hybrid, I know you're out there. Bigatus dia hoita, as they would say. So good to see you. This is good from Z Suzanne, actually virtually. So anyway, that's the bodies, and we're going to look at it each body because she's a slightly different person in each body, so we can kind of figure out, which version or which body, if let's say hypothetically that you were if you were going to date Alita, I would say, or let's say you were just going to, admire her as a very good friend and just maybe interact with her that way. That's cool. Which would be the best version of that you'd want to see, So anyway, Lee, any other thoughts about that? Did I leave out a body?
I cannot think of one. I think that's all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, she had, I guess, at one point this is not the Mars Chronicles we're going to be talking about here, but certainly the Urn body would be part of that. But, she did have another body as a little girl, as a toddler and a little girl. And I think she had a training body too at one point in the Urn before she got transferred over into a more advanced body. And I can't recall what those are. So we're just going to stick with these 10, I suppose. Hello, David Watson. It's good to see you there in the UK. I think you're in the UK. Okay, so I can't think of anything else, and Lee, you can't think of anything else. I guess we can go ahead to the first body here. Well, before we do that, I forgot what I had in here.
Well, I was just sorry, I was just laughing. Max Tech said, "What about the octopus body Nova wanted to put her in?"
Yeah, that's not going to be a waifu body, Maxie. Absolutely, Yeah, that'd be a scary thing, wouldn't it? So anyway, but let's talk about Alita in general, I guess. because these things kind of at her basis, at her core, I guess, this is who she is deep down. Now it does vary depending on what body she comes in, and this is kind of a variation of a slide we had last week. But she is a cyborg, and certainly she has superhuman abilities. And we've talked about in the past how she's not a superhero, but she does have superhuman or superhero level ability, like superhuman strength, superhuman speed, that kind of stuff. Her reaction time is like 20 times faster than a human in her berserker body, in her Imaginos body. It's ridiculous how much faster she is and how much stronger. But in all of those bodies, she is still very human. She has retained that aspect of herself. And that's kind of important because in the Imaginos body, she actually has a brain chip. She's not, or at least the cyborg Alita has a brain chip. And
I was going to say that might be a bit of a spoiler there, but
yeah, it probably is, but hopefully everybody will read it anyway. So and she's we've had that discussion on prior streams, whether in that Imaginos body, is she human because she doesn't have a human brain, but
not having any of the organics or anything like that. Is she still counted as a human, or is being human your memories and experiences and things?
Yeah, that's right. And I guess in a very real way, I guess you could say in her Imaginos body, she's actually more of an android than she is a human. I mean, a cyborg.
Yeah, from a
but that's not what we're technically, that's true. She's very intuitive, and we had that discussion last week. I think I had intelligent there, and she is intelligent. That's for sure. But when she first wakes up in that doll body, she has no memory, so her intelligence is kind of affected by that. And we could see that when Ito had to pull her out of the way of that truck, that was when she was kind of gawking up there at Zalem, because she didn't have any common sense at that point, But now as the movie goes on, she very much has common sense because she learns quick, But she does have this very good gut feeling for what's happening around her. She's got a very high degree of self-awareness, so that
intuition,
very intuitive. Yeah, that's right, intuition. She is a very compassionate and loving person. I mean, we could see that in her interaction with that little stray dog, how she kind of cared for that dog. And of course in the movie with her relationship with Hugo, of course that turned into a romantic type of, love thing, as they would say. And then in the manga, of course, she meets Figure 4. And then that whereas the Hugo thing was more of a, kind of an infatuation, almost what you would call, teenage puppy love, what they used to call it many years ago. With Figure 4, she was older, so she was more of a woman then. And she basically, that was as they would say down south, that was a show enough love, a relationship, that kind of thing, So, but she is very caring person, in terms of who she is. She's extremely easy to get along with, but don't get on her bad side.
Definitely has her moments.
Yeah, she can go sideways on you if you piss her off. Like we saw that with Tanji. She comes out there at that street motorball game. She smiles, says hi to everybody, and she's having fun out there. And Tanji is being a bit of a prick, kind of knocks her down and takes the ball away from her and scores, and kind of, does like you would see in basketball, like a slam dunk, that kind of thing. And that got her ire up, as they would say. And then she went sideways on Tanji real fast. So kicking his skates out from under him, and then she slam dunks it, so anyway, I love that scene too, by the way. She is a very sweet person, both in the movie and in the manga, but I would say she can kind of go off the rails from time to time.
There is the Toon Dark in which she stays off the rails for a while.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Until she meets Figure Four, of course, and then Figure Four kind of,
Helps
brings her
her
back
come
to her
back to her.
humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, we had that little chat last week, I guess. So yeah, she's a very sweet person, but God, man, she's unpredictable and can go sideways on you. And her Uncle Crake, what wouldn't piss her off, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So and of course, that next to the last bullet for me is a very important bullet about her. It says a lot about her personality, and she has this in all of her bodies. She has that determination, that I am going to succeed. I am going to do this, and it's just, and she just keeps on keeping on until it happens. And to me, that's a very admirable trait in her, in both the movie and the manga, And then, of course, if Angelus was here, he would like that last bullet, which the Creek likes that last bullet too, is that, ooh factor, she is cute. There's no doubt about it, and of course, Chaos found that out. He thought she was real cute, and he thought he was going to, have it kind of a, kind of little thing going there when she slugs him, Another example of going sideways on people, when he tries to kiss her.
He's kind of asking for it, trying to push things the way he was.
Yeah, he was. That's right. He was kind of groping her a little bit too, I guess. So, and that, this is the last girl you'd want to grope, I think. Because yeah, you would learn a very hard lesson with her on that one. She knows how to defend herself, and she's extreme. It's like say she's got superhuman abilities. So if you try to mess with her, I mean, you're really taking your life in your own hands in a real way, So anyway, Lee, anything you want to add to that?
You seem to do a pretty good job of covering everything, so not really.
Yeah, this is kind of her basis no matter what body she's in. Now, Lee mentioned a while ago in her Toon body, she stays off the rails for a very long time. So
that
yeah.
I think is more of her circumstances and stuff.
I think so. Yeah, that's right. But even there, she had moments of kindness in her and stuff like that. Even in the manga, she had that. So she wasn't off the rails totally all the time, but I would say 90% of the time she was off the rails. But anyway, that's Alita. Overall, the basic factors or basic characteristics that make her a waifu. Overall. Now, what we want to do here is we want to figure out which one of these versions of her, in terms of the actual, of her and personality as they change from body to body, which one is the best? And I'll be asking folks, when we get toward the end, which one do you like the best? And I'll kind of keep track of it, and then we'll kind of announce it at the end or something like that, which one we think is the best, all of us, not just Lee and I. Certainly Lee and I will have a vote, but, we'll actually factor in everybody in the chat too, Okay, Lee, can you think of anything else? I can't think of anything.
No, off the top of my head, no.
Okay, let's kind of take a look at the first body, I guess, and that would be her body, the United Republics of Mars military body. And I think in a very real way, this is very similar to the Berserker body, that she had, when she was in the movie, I guess, and at points in the manga. But, in this body, she is very much a warrior, and you can look at her there. She looks really cute, but oh man, don't let that cuteness trick you, because she can be pretty lethal, in this body, and if you're the enemy, if she thinks you're the enemy, I guess you better make peace with your maker, because you're going to see him real soon.
Cute little buzzsaw of death.
Yeah, that's right. So, what do you think about this body right here, and her as a waifu? Not her as just being a cute girl and all that, but as a waifu,
I think it's a good one. I mean, I think I preferred her her Imaginos bodies.
Yeah.
But this one's a good one. Actually, isn't this her her Imaginos body? I mean, the outfit she's wearing in the picture on the right, I think that was the beginning of the Martian Chronicles, I think.
Yeah, I might have had the wrong. I might have got the wrong body in there. I was going by that. I got the one on the left has got that little chibi there. I guess
the Zex chibi.
Zex guy. Yeah, the Zex chibi, but the one on the right, I think you're right, because it's got Danko there on there. He's that sentient gun. So yeah, you're probably right about that. Yeah.
I was wondering, I never really got the chance to read it, so I wasn't sure what that was. So
yeah, Danko was a living gun. That's a living rail gun. Yeah, I guess it is a rail gun now that you mention it. Where's Maxie when we need him? But yeah,
that's standing outside of a garage sale.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. What do you think, Lee? What about this body would make her? I think all of her body, she would be a decent waifu. Because we covered that in the last slide there. But what about this body that would make her a good waifu in this body?
Well, if you're talking about the novelization of the Berserker body, according to the novelization, it had the ability, apparently, to simulate the functions of an organic body, which means for humans, physical intimacy is kind of important in a romantic relationship. So that would probably be one of the better choices for that.
Yeah. Now, this body, is it like a Berserker body? I guess it is.
The Imaginos body?
No, not the Imaginos. The body she had when she was in the military.
Oh, that was the Berserker body.
That was the Martian Berserker body, I guess, wasn't it? Of course,
if you're talking about the I think that was a movie representation of the Martian military, because I think it was called something else in the manga. I think. I'm not entirely certain, unfortunately. I can't remember exactly, but the Berserker, its nanotech allowed it to apparently simulate much of a human body's organic functions. So
yeah, I wonder if she could procreate, though. That's the only thing. I mean, maybe
I kind of doubt that.
Yeah.
I mean, the Imaginos body, maybe, because it had some really whacked out abilities, but I don't think the Berserker body could do that.
Yeah, because I mean, she could. I guess in a Berserker body, I guess she could have sex in a Berserker body, but that'd be as far as it goes. She couldn't have kids or anything. Yeah. So anyway, she's cute in this body, that's for sure. But once again, if you get on the wrong side, you're in for a big trouble.
One hopes, however, that she's not going to be taking too much of her anger out on the people she cares about. So you'd probably be kind of safe if you're not like doing something like trying to backstab her or something like that.
Yeah, if you're a friend or something like that, she'd probably, kind of like what she said. Now, this was in the novelization itself. When she first got the Berserker body in the novelization, it was like she was assuring Ito, that, hey, she knew why he didn't want to give her the Berserker body to begin with, or didn't want to transfer it to her anyway, transfer her into that. But, she knew that he thought that would make her a monster. And she said, no, it's still me. I'm still Alita, So, I think you could make that assumption in all the bodies, even the Imaginos body, as powerful as it is. She probably, she probably would be just as caring and compassionate for folks that, that she cared about. Right. They probably wouldn't have any issue with her like that. I mean, it's probably an argument with her would be okay, but a definite confrontation, like physically, you would be taking your life in your own hands, I think.
Very possibly, yes. That was one of the things I think that makes her such an individual. A lot of people getting the kind of power she ends up with as the story progresses, that can change a person. When a human is able to do something and not have to suffer repercussions for it, that can
Yeah.
cause people to start becoming more arrogant, more tyrannical, I guess. But she never
Yeah.
seems to fall into that. At least not
Yeah, she doesn't, does
completely.
she? There was one side story there in the original manga where she was, a tuned agent. You remember she shot that Deckman,
Yeah, the one that went
and she
looking for
was,
water.
yeah, that's right, and she shot him. But I think one of the things about even then, even if she had been buried
Yeah, she
under
waited for
sand or
the
something like that.
children to leave before she did.
Yes, yeah, because she did care about that because the kids were having fun with Deckman and all that, So she said, "No, I'm going to wait." So yeah, she even had a little bit of feeling there, even in that body, because in her
Yeah.
tuned body, yeah, she was basically an assassin, wasn't she? I mean,
Basically, I think
yeah, she
I
was,
think basically just sent her out to basically be a troubleshooter. Quite literally, they had trouble. They sent her to shoot the trouble.
yeah, yeah, she eliminated threats. That's what she was doing,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So in this body, I think the Creek would think, yeah, she's a pretty good waifu, I think. What do you
Mm-hmm.
think, Lee? Of course, I think Lee, you said earlier in the chat that your answer, which version of her was a good waifu, and you said yes.
Yeah, I kind of gave my
So
vote there earlier.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay, I guess moving along here, let's take a look at her in her doll body. She certainly at the beginning of the movie, she's very sweet at the beginning of the movie because basically, I think it's because she didn't have any memory. It's not to say she's a bad person, and that would be in that doll body, but she was still learning things, and I think Ito told Hugo that, that Alita's new here and she's still learning about things.
Mm-hmm.
So, that kind of sums it up for her in that doll body. For me, I mean, she's really cute and everything, but she's a teenager. I mean, she's like
Very
14.
childlike in many ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
So
would
to
probably
me,
yeah. I was just going to say
yeah,
I
go
would
ahead, Lee.
probably exempt this body from the answer I gave because a bit on the young side.
Yeah, a little bit too young, I think.
Yeah.
I would say if you were a teenage boy, and you had an attraction to her, I guess you could say she's a good waifu for a teenager, because I
Mm-hmm.
think Hugo was obvious. He was attracted to her. Now, the thing that was driving him at the beginning was he knew she was from Zalem, because
Yeah.
because
She
Ito
was a
found her in
source
the
of
scrapyard.
information to something that he had an obsession with.
Yeah, that's right. Now, eventually, certainly he falls in love with her, but I think a lot of
Mm-hmm.
that too was after she got in her berserker body. I think he saw her and went, "Whoa,
Yeah, he
man,
started
she's
seeing
nice."
her as a young woman that he cared a great deal about.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I would say that yeah, if you're a teenager, and you're looking for a kind of a relationship with another teenager, she would be a good waifu there, because she's in this body, she's still very sweet. She's compassionate. We saw that with the little dog, and she kind of adopted Ito as her father, basically,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
without many questions. I mean, they certainly had a little bit of a disagreement there about, not being put in the berserker body or not, telling her, who's not letting her become a hunter warrior. He was kind of resisting that, and
Mm-hmm.
and that's when you heard that. Well, who are you to tell me that? What gives you the
Mm-hmm.
right? So at that point, I think she starts growing up. I think.
Yep. Starts rebelling against him.
Yeah, and that'd be very teenage, wouldn't it? I mean, rebelling
Very.
against
Yeah.
authority. So yeah, exactly. So, but oh yeah, she's cute. There's no doubt about it. Okay, anything else? Well, I tell you about this body too, in terms of her abilities. In this body, I think she's probably stronger than most humans because she's a cyborg. I don't know how much of. I don't think her strength is an order of magnitude greater than humans.
It didn't seem like it. I think
mean,
a lot of her power came from her fighting ability. She didn't seem to have a lot of physical strength comparatively in this particular body.
Yeah, well, she did axe kick Garishka's arm off, which
yeah. Well, like I said, that seemed to be primarily
Yeah.
her fighting ability, her ability to focus the force of her blow into a specific point to damage her opponent.
Yeah, that's right. So, but I would still say that if you pissed her off, even in this body,
still in for some hurt.
She can hurt you. Yeah, that's right. She could definitely hurt you in this body because the main thing is she's a cyborg, so she doesn't have that soft, squishy, like she can, there's an old saying, I know Den and I have talked about this in the past, like, Den's a martial artist and so is Angelus, about if you're defending yourself, when you punch somebody, you don't hit them in the face with your fist. I mean, you can, I guess, depending on how you hit them and with, just 2 specific knuckles or something like that. But usually a palm strike works best, for humans. And you indeed saw her use a palm strike against Zapan. She broke his nose with it, actually. Yep. So, and Maxie says she'd kick his butt with no worries. And even though the Creek's a power lifter, he would kick his butt too.
There'd be a big difference between a forearm strike from, say, a normal human and her. Even the doll body, it'd be like getting hit with a steel bar in the face.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But, she's still a good person here. She's very sweet, so, and of course that picture on the right is kind of sexy, really. I don't know if that's kind of, if that fits the 14-year-old thing or not, but, that's maybe,
I still see
14
her as,
or 15 even. Yeah, she's a kid. That's right. And as a matter of fact, Shirin called her, a kid. You didn't he? When she was walking out, he said, "Hey, kid," and she turns around, so she knew she was a kid.
Yeah, I mean, she looks to be mid-teens while wearing that body.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, as a waifu, I would say for this one, for teenagers. This would be a waifu
age appropriate type.
Yes, there you go. That's it. Okay, Hybrid says, why do they call it the doll body? I think I know in the novelization there's a reference to the fact that when she's in this body, I think when she's in the doll body itself, and there's a scene in there where she kind of looks at the body and she thinks of it as like somebody's little doll, That's kind of the impression she got, and I guess that term doll body just stuck.
Well, the look of it when she was standing in front of the mirror looking at herself for the first time, it does sort of resemble an articulating toy body. I mean, I think anyway.
Yeah, Hot Toys Alita.
Something like that.
So, yeah. So, and she does have those flowery little designs on. It goes into great detail in the novelization too about the designs being done, but now it's not quite like what you see in the picture there on the right. You see some little designs on her leg there on her left leg, and you see a little bit of it on her arm there, but in the novelization, it goes into great detail about how there are little swirls and spirals and flowers and stuff like that, which you don't see that on that body. And then she thought of it as actually a
I did see a lot of detail in some of the close-ups. I remember there being some rather elaborate engravings in it.
Yeah, there were. And Maxie points out she does look like a porcelain doll. Now, we don't know what material that is. To me, it doesn't look like porcelain. It looks more like something akin to PVC or something like that.
It was probably some kind of high-impact, high-grade plastic. but had a translucent porcelain-like appearance.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of semi-opaque, isn't it? So,
I mean, you can definitely see that in the movie when she's holding her fingers up and looking at them. You can see the light shining through them.
Yeah, you definitely can see that. And at certain points, one of the things I did like about the movie that knocked my head off is in that first scene when she's sitting in the bed and holding her arms out. There was a couple of spots there you could actually look through her and you would see the back.
You could
wall.
See the internal, and see, see through the spacing in it. It's kind of wild how
Maxie was saying he was saying he was referring to the look. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she does kind of look like a porcelain doll. Although for me, I think I agree with Lee. I think that looks almost like a hybrid plastic sort of, could even be some form of carbon alloy of some sort. I'm not sure.
I mean, it definitely didn't appear to be any kind of metal or anything, but it was
no.
Whatever it is probably tough enough to stand up to some punishment.
Well, she was able to knock off Grishka's arm with it, and his arm was, hooked up to his body with steel. Of course, it was she kicked him at a joint, so that would probably be easier than like kicking a steel bar, or something like that. But
yeah, it definitely has
I think
porcelain-like appearance to it.
Yeah, it does actually. Now her skin, I think her skin's synthetic, but when I say synthetic, I don't mean it's plastic. I mean it's kind of like what they said in that movie, in those Terminator movies. I think that first one they talk about how those cyborgs, which I think were more like androids, but how they would grow skin, for the cyborgs. I think that's the same thing here. Is I think her skin is like real skin, but it's like artificial. They grew it, somehow, So,
well, you can see when she gets picked up in the junkyard that there's a layer of it over her head, but you can see the alloy skull under it. So it's definitely some kind of synthetic material.
Yeah, exactly.
But looks like the real thing. So.
Yep. So I guess Lee and I both agree she's a waifu, an age-appropriate teenage waifu in this case. So, she's cute. No doubt. The Creek's niece is cute. That's for sure.
Yep.
Okay, the Berserker body. Now, this one's a little different right here. This one, she's a woman in this body. As a matter of fact, there's that scene when, after they had embodied her or inserted her in the Berserker body where Gerhard says, it looks like she's a little older than you thought. Yeah, you think? Yeah, she's definitely older, late teens at the earliest, I think.
Yeah, there was some of the notes I was looking at. Cameron mentioned that Ito was going to basically end up sort of assuming that she was actually younger than she actually was. He was going to look at her as a younger girl instead of the young woman that she actually was.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense, doesn't it? Because when she was in the military, she wouldn't be a very young girl. She would be more like, like what now, assuming that they, take people in the military like they do on Earth now, where you got to be at least 17 years old, I think, to get in the Army, I think. Then she, would have to be a comparable age, I think. So
possibly
she's a little older.
I mean, it does depend on at what point in time in the conflict she is either joins or is inducted into the military. Because if it's at a point in the war when things are going really badly for Mars, they might start taking them much younger to train them to become practically child soldiers, really. I mean,
exactly.
A possibility, I suppose. It's not necessarily the case, but yeah.
Well, that happened in World War II, actually, when, the Allied forces were.
Yeah, Germany started sending their children out to fight.
Yeah, 13 and 14-year-old boys were conscripted.
And girls, too, it turns out.
Yeah, girls, too. That's right. Yeah, they were, conscripted into the Army to defend the fatherland,
Yeah, anybody would pull the trigger of a gun.
Yeah, that's right. But I think in this particular case, since the way that war went, the fall, the Martians actually unleashed a biological agent on Earth that killed, what was it, like 90% of the population or something like that. And Earth retaliated with a nanobot bomb that did essentially the same thing to cyborgs on Mars,
I think actually the I could be misremembering it, but I think it was, didn't Earth hit with the nanoplague first and then Mars struck back? Well, either way, they both hit each other with massive plagues.
Yeah, they both hit each other with massive plays. You might be right about that, but it wasn't a drawn out affair after that happened. I mean, the war was over pretty fast, in both cases, so there was no opportunity to conscript children, into their militaries, So, and you certainly got the impression when Alita was going up the supply tube, with Gelda and that squad, that none of those were they were teenagers, possibly 18, 19 years old, that kind of thing.
That's the thing. It can be hard to tell. With a cyborg body, you can make it look as old as you want, and it can be completely disconnected from the mind within as far as age goes.
Yeah, it would still be the experience thing, I guess. But yeah, for sure. So anyway, I'm gonna put this. If anybody wants to join into this discussion, I just put the link in the chat if you want to jump on and say something about this. Now, in my opinion, I think Alita in this body is very much a waifu. She's, she is a woman, a young woman, no doubt. But all right, guys, she's still my niece, so be careful. But anyway. Yeah, she's very much a woman here, and not a little kid anymore. As you can see on the right, she's quite nice, actually. So yeah, she's definitely not a teenager. Well, she's a teenager, but I think Maxie thinks she's 19. That's cool. I think she's a little older by the time she gets up the supply tube. But yeah, I think she's very much a waifu in this body. And of course, being 300 years old, and at some point, she's going to recall all of her memories. That would be kind of outstanding, wouldn't it, if you had that kind of memory for that many years? So
yeah.
So I don't know, Lee. What do you think?
No, it's got my vote.
I bet that one rates. Yeah, that one's got my vote too. Actually, yeah, it's very much a woman in this body. So. And, we learned a lot about this body in the movie. I mean, it certainly got Hugo's attention. That's for sure. Yeah, he was quite smitten, I think, himself with Alita after she got in this body. Not so much at the beginning because she's still a kid,
Yeah.
But I like what Maxie said a while ago. He said that Alita would be driving men berserk.
Yeah.
In this body. Yes, she would. So anyway, you still have to contend with her Uncle Creek, though, so you better be appropriate with her. Anyway. So yeah, I guess, she's very, in this body, though, you could see when she did that little handstand and that one finger stand like she's doing right there. Of course, showing extreme power, in that body, and then comes
that's an incredible amount of strength and even structural strength, because the joints in that finger being able to hold up all that weight, that's an immense amount of power and capability there.
Yeah. Angela says, much to Max Tack's delight, he's crippled from talking because he's sick, I guess. Yeah, I don't know, Angelus, maybe so, Yeah, wide-skinned shoulders are very eye-catching. Yes, they are, and that, that suit she's wearing, boy, it's really form-fitting, isn't it? Yep, she is indeed
very flattering
in that thing. Yeah, for sure, But after she did all this acrobatics type stuff that you saw there, that you saw in the movie, she comes and sits down beside Ito and puts her head on his shoulder, which, you know, we've had that discussion. Why didn't that smush him, you know? You know, but I think she had enough control of herself, you know, not to do that, you know.
Not to mention, I don't think she was really as heavy as they were going to try to make her out to be, because if they did, there'd be a lot of problems with structural integrity of like furniture and stuff.
Yes. Well, we had, I guess at one point, Dizzy thought she was like 800 pounds. Now, I don't think she was near that much.
I don't think she could have been. Yeah. I mean, not to mention, I don't think the military would want to make them that heavy, because when you do that, you limit a soldier's ability to go to some places on a battlefield. Like in an urban environment, especially, you go into a apartment building, and if you're too heavy, you're going to punch through the floors and end up in the basement.
Yeah, I would say, Angelus, that she is cyborg appropriate heavy is what I would say. I would say her maximum weight is probably 200 pounds. That would be my assessment of it. You know,
I would say heavy? Possibly up towards 300, but probably around there, somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 to 300.
Yeah, I think so. You know, and that for a cyborg, that wouldn't be that heavy. You know, because I mean, all the mechanisms in her body and all of the materials that simulate muscles would certainly be able to move that weight pretty easily. You know,
yeah, it'd probably be a lot of density because it's also supposed to be able to withstand a combat environment.
Yeah. You know, there's that one scene when she was in her doll body when Hugo picks her up and he said, and I've said this several times, but you know, he helps her up and he says, "Oh, you're heavy." And I thought, the first time I saw that, I thought, "You dumbass." You don't say that to a woman you just met. Come on.
Yeah, I remember thinking the first time I saw it, I was like, that may not be the wisest thing to say, but
no, not really. You know, I first time I saw that, I thought, "Dumbass."
But she didn't seem to take any offense to it. So
offense by it, yeah, that's right. So, but anyway, I think, she's probably 200 to 300 pounds here. But I know I've done calculations about her strength. You know, about being able to curl 800 pounds and being
I saw that video you did on her strength and speed, and you did a number of calculations to come up with some pretty good numbers for that, I thought.
Yeah, Maxie and I have had laughs about it because I had to make a lot of assumptions on some of those, you know. But when you think about it, you know, if she is 200 to 300 pounds and she demonstrates the ability to jump like she did, you remember in that movie, she was jumping from rooftop to rooftop, you know. I mean, if you weigh 300 pounds, you better be really, really strong to be able to do that, you know, or even 200 pounds for that matter. You know, because I know I weigh 200 pounds and I can't jump that. You know, I couldn't.
Well, considering the feats of strength she does, she seems to have, her muscles seem to have a high power to, what was it? I think it's strength power to weight ratio, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
So,
and of course, being able to run as fast as she did, because I calculated her average speed in the factory was 125 miles an hour. So you have to have some incredible power and strength to be able to move a body of 200 or 300 pounds that fast.
Well, when you're talking about a technology level that has the kinds of weapons and like stasis fields, which is like near magic levels of technology compared to what we've got now, then they can probably build a body that can easily do all that.
Yeah, they probably could, you know. So as a waifu, we kind of got off subject there a little bit because we're awed by Alita's abilities, you know, at least I am, you know. But in the movie and in the manga, yeah, they are, you know. And I think she's she's a waifu in this body. You know, definitely a waifu, you know.
Very much so, yes.
So, and, you know, and Den and I have had this discussion on past streams too, that now he thinks Android 18 would be a better waifu, you know, because she, you know, ends up with Krillin and they have a kid and all that kind of stuff, you know. But I think Alita would be a good mother, you know, because the reason why I say that, which would make her a waifu, that would contribute to her being a waifu, because that little dog, now granted she was in her doll body, but basically her personality didn't change when she that much. Her maturity level changed, but her personality didn't change that much. When she made the transition from doll
Well, she also
body.
seems to have a very big soft spot for children as well, too.
Yeah, she does, because in the manga, when she goes down into the underworld or the sewer, to chase Makaku, because he's taken Koyomi down there. He's threatened to eat the baby, and she, you could see there was that one panel when she's holding Koyomi, very much like a mother would hold a baby, So I think Alita would be a good mother. I think, So now, of course, she's not going to be able to procreate. So I guess if her in figure 4, I guess if she had stayed in this body, would have to adopt somebody, I guess. But I think she would be good with that. Now the human form Alita certainly could have a baby. There's no doubt there.
I've often thought it would be nice to see a short little aside story, like some of the ones, like the one with the sonic finger. That was a short little aside. Some sort of little, like a short aside story that gets written where her and figure 4 may be living out near Iron City or something like that, where they finally settle down and have a family.
Yeah, that'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be neat if they did a series on that. Either, I mean, there is so much material in the manga, that Robert Rodriguez could go nuts with it, trying to, just doing different stories,
Well, I'd like to see Koshiro do a short little aside on that too in the manga.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
That's up to him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's still, I think, volume 8, I think, is out in Japan. It may even be out here. I'll have to check Amazon, but yeah, I mean, I think it would, I think that would be great, as a story. But there are so many stories that they could write about her. Either they could do the continuation, Koshiro could do the continuation in the manga, or they could come up with a lot of stories, for series and a sequel, certainly.
Yeah, there was the
trilogy and more.
After Motorball. Actually,
Yes.
I'm not sure if they could do it the same way, because the movie verse, Motorball is her path to get to Zalem. So I think in the movie storyline, there isn't necessarily going to be that after Motorball like there was in the manga, because after Motorball with the movie storyline, she's probably going to end up in some other situation. I mean, facing off against Nova or something. I mean, in the manga, Motorball was her way of dealing with Hugo's death, and I guess sort of trying to find herself a little bit.
Yeah, and keeping her occupied too, I think.
Mm-hmm. So the motivations for Motorball seem quite a bit different between the two.
Well, we did talk last week about one series they could do would be, at the end of the movie, how the announcer had said that she had worked her way through the ranks of the second league. They could do a whole series, a whole season on her, going through the second
doing
league.
Exactly that. Yeah. Working her way up to the leagues.
So there's a lot of possibilities. So I don't know if Disney ever watches this stream or not.
Not to mention, she wouldn't always be playing Motorball. There could be, the time in between each game where they tell a little bit of a story as well.
Yeah, exactly. And they could go into what Ito's doing a little bit too, and maybe even show her do a little bit more as maybe before the Motorball stuff. They could do a little bit of a side there for her being a hunter warrior,
and maybe fill out the relationship between Ito and Gerhat a bit. I would have liked to have seen more between those two to find out how they met, and maybe fill out how it is that the two interact together, because they seemed like friends, but in the novelization they didn't. They seem to have more of a working relationship than a.
Yeah, it's more professional, because they met because I guess a lorry or a truck driver ran into her and took her arm off in front of the hospital as she was coming out. So
and Ito needed somebody to help him with the clinic, since his wife walked out on him.
Yeah,
and it was just him after that.
Yep. So yeah, but they could do a whole thing on that too, or at least include that in part of Alita's story. You know, I mean, even in the Motorballs thing, because I mean, Gerhard would be part of that. You know.
Yeah.
Now Gerhard wasn't in certainly in the manga. That was what was his name? Wasn't Gonzo, was it, or Concho?
Gonshu?
Gonshu, something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember for the life of me. I remember the character. I can't remember his name.
Well, good aim, mate. How's it going, Maxie?
Surviving. What about yourself?
Oh, hey, Max.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I've escaped momentarily. I have to go and get more money. The wife has just spent enough here. It's crazy.
Yeah. Are we doing yard sailing or garage sailing again there, Maxie, or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, my mother used to do that with my stepfather. They'd go what they called yard sailing, and then he would, he would sell the stuff they buy at the yard sale. He would sell them at the flea market after that. But they made pretty good money at it, actually. They did all right. So anyway, how's things down there? Go ahead, Maxie.
I was saying that this one's pretty good. The guy, it's an older guy, and he's done a lot of collecting, and he's got all sorts of weird and wonderful things.
Oh, that's cool. So how are things down there in Straya?
Well, we actually managed to get 4 dry days in a row, which was amazing. But then now it started raining again.
Y'all get a lot of rain in the spring and fall down there, do you? I think he must be on his phone and he hit a dead spot. So anyway, Maxie, when you get to where your signal's good again, I guess Lee and I both agree that Alita in the Berserker body, she is a Class A #1 waifu on this body. So
definitely.
You know what's really cool? Yeah, if you were attacked by somebody, she could defend you. There'd be no problem there, So
which is definitely a big bonus in a place like Iron City, where you've got if you yourself don't happen to be augmented, and there are so many cyborgs running around, then that's definitely one of the pluses.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, you kind of dropped off there a little bit.
Oh, when I swap to the map app, it must kill the microphone, so that's annoying.
Okay. I
navigate through Sydney to get to a good petrol station, or gas as you guys call it.
Yep.
So yeah, the fuel prices are insane down here, but not quite as insane as up your way, I don't think.
They're insane up here too. Very
well,
much.
The government actually cut the fuel excise tax to reduce the expenses, because it's driving some people to the wall, the cost of fuel.
Yeah. Well, here the state governments control the fuel. Well, the federal government also has a fuel excise tax, but states do too, I think. So it's ridiculous up here. Petrol up here, as you guys call it, is pretty ridiculous, I think the speculators had a field day with this. But anyway, that's another story. I don't want to get into politics.
My wife's had me drive 76 kilometers down to Sydney to go to this yard sale.
Jeez.
Lovely. Well, nice little Saturday drive there, Maxie. Not a big deal.
That's almost like me driving up to Denver. That's quite a bit.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes,
which one of these days you're going to have to do?
So we do a lot of driving.
Yeah. Well, Lee, you're going to have to do that one of these days, because when I finally get to the point where we're going to have that little, that little look at the big screen of IMAX Alita, we're going to have to. You and I and Alita Rave and Do Not Stand By, we're all going to have to get together and kind of, watch it,
Well, I've been thinking about it. The only problem I've got is transportation. I've got I'd probably have to see if I could borrow my girlfriend's car, because my car overheats if I go from the fountain to the springs. So I don't think I'd make it to Denver in that thing.
Well, we could bring girlfriends and wives and stuff like that if they'll come.
Oh,
I
well,
don't know if Darlon's wife would come or not, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, as much as I don't think she'd mind coming, I don't think my girlfriend would want to make that drive. She's got some health issues that mean that kind of drive would be agony for her.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, hopefully she'll get better.
Hopefully.
So anyway, yeah, Maxie, Lee and I agree that Alita in the Berserker body is a Class A #1 waifu in this body. What do you think?
Agreed.
Yeah, and the Creek is saying that about his niece, so that's saying a lot.
Well, this
Okay,
is the
let's
height,
go.
basically the height of her power until she gets to the Imaginos. So
Yeah, that's right.
I'm kind of curious
Okay,
if
the
they're
next
actually going to
body.
do that in the
Oh, I'd
movieverse.
love it. Oh, I'd love it.
Hmm.
Yeah, we need an ACU. That's what we need. We need a Alita Cinematic Universe. That's what we need. You hear that,
Mhm.
Disney? Damn it. We want an Alita Cinematic Universe, for crying out loud. So, yeah. Okay, the next body, I guess, is the Motorball body, and that's Maxie's favorite body, actually. So
Well, it
I'm
is a
guessing
nicely
that
designed
Maxie-
one.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm guessing
Yeah,
that Maxie thinks that. Go ahead, Maxie.
I'm having to swap between this app and the navigation app, so I may not be able to answer you straight away because I'm driving as well. So
Ooh.
don't want to have an
Okay.
accident.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah, really. Don't be doing stuff like that while you're driving. I mean, holy moly. So
I'm only doing it when I'm stopped at traffic lights, there are many.
okay. Yeah.
I'm driving through the middle of Chatswood at the moment, which is one of the larger business districts of Sydney.
Hmm.
Hey, I got on on my Oculus, like there's an app there called Wander, and I kind of went down into Sydney on that thing. It's kind of interesting. It looks like any other big city to me, but the only thing I could see was any real difference was people were driving on the wrong side of the road. But other than that,
It's called the left side, not the wrong side. I can understand right and wrong, but no, it's right and left.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. So anyway, the Motorball body is really sleek, boy. I mean, it is. I have to agree with Maxine. Motorball body is not my favorite body. Obviously, my favorite body is the Imaginos 2.1. But this body looks pretty cool. I have to admit. I mean, it is.
It's
It
definitely
is sleek.
reminiscent of a high-performance race car.
Oh yeah. And I think Maxie calls it the Ferrari of cyborg bodies. So it certainly looks like that.
Yep.
Now, we don't have a lot to go on in the movie about what she does in the Motorball body. Certainly, if she's, most of her personality is going to be similar. But in this particular body, you remember she's trying to get over Hugo. And, and she's probably a little depressed. She's probably mad,
Oh, there was
because,
a lot of anger in her at that point. I mean, she ended up basically turning her back on Ito, trying to distance herself from everything that happened.
yeah. And to me, that's kind of that speaks to her unpredictability or impulsiveness, a little bit, because I mean, certainly Hugo's death wasn't Ito's fault, by any means. I mean, it was Nova that killed him, but, she kind of lashed out, I think, which speaks once again to her unpredictability. So,
yeah. Her impulsiveness at times.
I don't think she's as good a waifu in this body as she would be in a Berserker body, but.
Well, it's a very specific purpose-built body, so it's got a specific function to fulfill.
Yeah. But I do think it's a cool body. There's no doubt about that. And it is. she is well, now granted, she's a fictional character, but, is if you want to think of her as a person, it's a very attractive body,
Mm-hmm. That's well put together, well designed, but yeah, it's got a sort of function specific.
Yeah, I've had friends ask me, why does Alita have breasts? I've had 2 or 3 people ask me that, Of course, I got to go through the explanation for them why she has breasts, Of course, what the main reason, that's the way the writers wrote it, But if you look at it from a semi-practical standpoint, she thinks of herself as a woman, I mean, she's female, so she wants breasts, what I mean, in her berserker body particularly, I mean, and in her Imaginos body, it's going to conform to her self-image of herself, so it's going to give her breasts in that particular case. And in the case of the doll body, of course, she was put in the doll body, because that was made for Ito's daughter, and Ito's biological daughter was a female, so that kind of happened that way on that one. So,
yeah.
Tricky, if you remember, in the manga, Alita actually asks, what's his name? I can't think of his name now, but basically her tuner.
Umba?
Why did you put me in a woman's body? And he said, well, the fans get a rise out of it.
Yeah, I remember that.
So basically, they like to see the female form. It's appealing.
Yeah, probably it's
also
more
attractive to the fans, I guess.
Well, not only that, they probably like seeing a female like this, these big badass cyborg males out there, and she's kicking their butts. They probably love seeing that too.
Yeah, very possibly.
I mean, Kishiro's never been backwards in coming forwards. He's no PC woke wallflower. He tells it like he sees it.
Yeah. Well, when S-Doc, I guess is what.
I thought S-Doc Motors was the sponsor, and Umba was the name of the two. No,
S-Doc's a manager, and Umba's her tuner.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. And Ed was kind of her coach, wasn't he? I think. Was Ed her coach?
What was Ed? Was he?
It's
I
a
thought
manager.
He was her coach.
Okay, he was the
manager. That's right. Yeah.
But he was also coaching her. I mean, he was doing both.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to speak for a little while. Sorry.
All right, no problem. So S and Ed, I guess, are the same person. I guess Ed's is I guess Ed is kind of like his nickname, I guess. Ed, would be a nickname for S-Doc. So anyway, Alita in this body, I think she's a waifu. There's no doubt about it. But I don't think she's quite the waifu that she is in her berserker body. That's my opinion. She's physically quite attractive in this body because that motorball body is really sleek. It's like you said, Lee. It's kind of like a racing car, which is what it's supposed to be, of the motorball world, for the sport. So, and I like that manga picture of her on the left. She's extremely cute in that one. Well, she's cute in the other one, but yeah. So what do you think, Lee? Is she, how does this motorball body, in terms of being a waifu, how does that
I'm going to go with no on this one, just because it's very function specific to fulfill a specific role within the path she's taking. So, I mean, if you...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you keep in mind that she can change over back to her berserker body, assuming that she still does that at this point in the story, then it's not really going to be a consideration, because she gets in this body for motorball, gets back into berserker body for everything else.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like an American football player putting on pads, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it seems to be what the motorball body is. It's basically like their motorball uniform.
Yeah, that's right. It's because you saw those guys in the movie that, you know, when I guess Vector was going in there to tell them that he's going to pay them $500K if they, you know, if they can take out Alita, you know, they were humans. I mean, a couple, three of them in there, you know, were human beings, you know, and then they somehow, I guess, they transplant their head over to a machine.
Well, they all have a core, supposedly, according to the novel.
Yeah.
And that core
Yeah.
is modular. It can be unplugged from one type of specific body built for that and plugged into the motorball body, which is one they use in the battlefield, as it were.
Yeah. And Alita is no exception to that. She certainly can be put in that body. Now, I do think that when she was in the motorball body, of course, she didn't go back to the berserker body. She went to the civilian body, I think.
Well, in the manga, she stayed, I think, in the motorball body and just switched out her feet. And she had the berserker in storage because of its connection to the painful memories of losing Hugo.
Yeah.
I have no idea how they're going to have that play out in the movie verse, but that was it in the manga.
Yeah, if you know, to me, it would be like if all they did was switch out her feet. You know, to me, it's like a football player always going around in his pads. That's kind of what that's like, you know. That's
the advantage, I think, of the human proportions of it. It allows her to basically, if she can take off the extra armor plating a little bit and slim it down, she can just put on clothing, and it's not really going to be a whole lot different than having a human form body.
Yeah. So you're going to say no on this body. I say a qualified yes. I don't think it's as good as the berserker body or other bodies, but hey, it's still our girl. It's still Alita, so I'm going to give her a little bit of a yes. You know? I'm
also saying no because I know that she can switch into the other body, so it's not really needed to be there. It's a nice body, but she can switch to the other ones, which are much better suited to that.
Yeah, it's her sports regalia, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Maxie, are you back? I guess not. So anyway, maybe a kind of yes or on waifu on this one. So, okay, her tuned body.
Here I am. I managed to get to the petrol station. Yeah, I agree. She's not much of a waifu in this body, but she's awesome nonetheless.
Oh yeah.
Well, I just by saying she's not a waifu, I'm not saying she's not cute. She's cute.
Yeah, still Alita. It's just not, for the specific subject we're discussing.
Yeah, she's not as much of a waifu in this body. Yeah, I agree. Okay, the tuned body. Now this body, I don't know about this one being a waifu body or not. I mean, in most of the manga, she's kind of off the rails in this body. But I mean, it's still her, and all that stuff. But yeah, she's kind of an assassin / threat eliminator, troubleshooter, stuff like that. I've always liked that panel on the left. That's where that building collapses, and there's Yolg and Figure 4 down there on the ground. And he's saying, "Whoa, man, we're sure lucky that window was there, or we'd have been crushed." And she's behind them. The two dumbasses can't see her, and she's holding up that big old heavy column so they don't get, smashed. It's kind of like that look on her face is, yeah, you're not smashed because I'm holding this column up, you dumbasses. That's kind of the way her face looks to me in that particular panel, Yeah, no problem. And then on the right, that's when I guess Chaos had her dress up in that wedding gown.
No, actually, I think I recognize that. That's when she was she was on that cycle, about to take a shot at Den, and Kiyomi gets in front between her and her target and begs her not to kill him. And she agrees not to, but tells her, next time we meet, I won't hesitate to shoot.
Yeah. So yeah, she's
Although
yeah,
I guess
she's
that does look like the tattered remains of a dress, but I thought maybe it was
yeah.
part of her, oh, excuse me, that poncho that she wore, but it could be the dress, I guess.
Yeah,
I
that looks
can't
like
remember.
the dress to me.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, looks like that. You know, Chaos did have her put on a wedding gown. You know, and I guess she put it on just to shut him up. You know,
Yeah, he was kind of getting a little
He was-
freaked out there and acting a little wacko.
yeah. And she said, "Well, okay, I don't. Hell, it's a dress. I can put a dress on." There's Chaos. Hey there, Chaos. How's it going?
Just saying hi briefly. I've got to
Okay,
go
no
head out and
problem. How are-
drive to go pick my son on sports night at the high school. So it happens.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you and Maxie, you married guys have got you got some things going there, don't you?
Well, it's just the first time in a while that my son gets to interact with a lot of other kids in the high school and mentors doing something. So we just decided to sign him up for that.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. So what sports you play in there, Chaos?
Oh, it's just they're just doing the various elementary school sports. It's on the football field. They're doing everything from soccer to tug of war and
Yeah.
basketball set up on that little field. So it's cool.
So they're just playing then.
Yeah, it's just a night out. That's all. So I'm just saying hi. And by the
All
way,
right, cool.
that dress looks very nice on her, Alita. So goodbye.
All right, we'll see you. So anyway, yeah, I think that she was still wearing that dress. I think. I guess I don't know. I don't remember. You know.
Yeah, I
Angelus
can't
and
remember a lot of the
reading-
details either. I just remember this one scene because
Yeah.
that one stuck with me. It was one of the ones when she basically threatened Kiyomi for getting between her and her target.
Yeah. She yeah, I guess Angelus and I have started reading the manga again. Angelus, I read another chapter, so you know, Alita's now fighting Makaku now, so you got some catching up to do if you're still out there. So I think he is. So, wait, you okay there, Lee? Holy moly!
Oh, I'm fine. I've had this cough for since I got a Teckle, I think, back in the 90s.
But anyway, I guess Alita, we lost Maxie. He must have hit a dead spot. I would say Alita is a waifu in this, although I would say before she meets Figure 4 and then starts that relationship with him, I guess, maybe not so much, you know. Actually, she was kind of bitchy in this body a little bit, you know. But
Well,
I
in the
think
Toon
after
Dark,
her-
she was going through some pretty rough stuff, so I wasn't too terribly surprised considering the position she was in.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, once again, you know, Figure 4 kind of brings her back to her humanity, you know. So that's pretty cool. But I think at that
I
point,
definitely would
she's
have been hesitant to have met her at this point in her life. Yeah,
because she said at one point when Figure 4 tried to strike up a conversation or a friendship or something, she says, "Don't get too close to me. Everybody that does dies."
That's when he first meets
So
her on the
that's-
train.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, the Angel of Death, I think she was called. So, but yeah, she's still a waifu here, I guess. You know, I think in a berserker body, she's more of a waifu. But yeah, it's still our girl, so she's still a waifu. So you know, a lot of people like this tuned body, don't they?
Well, it's a well-designed one. And it's certainly got some powerful capabilities to it, so it's not a bad one.
Yeah, it's not quite as powerful as a berserker body, I don't think, but it's definitely a pretty well. You can see on the left there. We have no idea how much that column weighs, but
I imagine it's pretty heavy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be at least 1,000 pounds, and she's holding it up with one hand. So
with what looks to be very little effort.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? One of the things I do like about her in this arc in the tuned body is that when you know her and Figure 4 they start fighting fighting out in the desert, I guess.
Mhm.
And she literally kicks the crap out of him. You know?
Well, she was
know,
at that point. She had, I think, just gotten them out of the blast radius of the train when its reactor went up, and then she was basically just
Yeah.
going to leave them there and continue on with her mission. And he was trying
Yeah.
to basically convince her not to do that, and confronts her about it. And they get into a bit of a dust up, and yeah, she slaps the crap out of him.
Yeah. Yeah, she kind of wails on him a little bit, you know.
Mhm.
And it was fun. That one panel I like is when you know, he tries to hit her with a palm strike, and she ducks, you know, and hits him with a
Mhm.
palm strike, and then you
Yeah,
know,
she
hits
basically
him a couple
palms him
other
right in the
times.
face and just splatters his nose.
Yeah. Yeah, and he says he's on the ground. He says, "Wow, she's fast."
Mhm.
Yeah, you think? So yeah, and I really enjoyed those sets of panels right there. And she says, "I don't believe this guy," because he keeps getting up and keeps getting pounded, you know. So, and I think that was the beginning of her actually starting to fall for him right there, because she could see the determination in him that was
Mhm.
similar to hers, you know.
Yeah, he just
And I
wouldn't give
think
up. He
that's when,
wouldn't back down. The only way he stopped is for her to basically knock him unconscious and make him stop.
yeah, exactly. So, and then she just leaves, you know, and thinks, I
Mhm.
can't believe this guy. And
Mhm.
then it's funny when was it a sandstorm or something come up, and she
I
pulls
think
up
it
in that
was
Jeep and
a
says,
some kind of severe weather pattern was formed by the reactor going off in the
yeah,
train, and so she
yeah,
decides
that's
to go
right.
back and take him to safety.
You two dumbasses, get in there, get in.
Mhm.
It's funny. Yeah, Figure Four is kind of a goofy guy in a lot of ways, isn't he?
A bit, but that's one of the things I liked about him.
Yeah,
He didn't seem to take himself too terribly seriously.
yeah, exactly. So anyway, yeah, I think Alita is very much. I think she's a waifu in this body. Certainly, when she calms down a little bit, she definitely is. You know.
Well, Figure Four certainly thought
So
so.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, he did. Now I think in this body, she's probably. Now I don't know how much time elapsed from the when she got in the Tune program and when she was in the
According
the
to some notes I read, I think it was something along the lines of like 10 years she spent
yeah,
out in the
because there was a
Badlands.
lot of that. Yeah, and we don't have any backstory on that. So she's in
Hmm.
her late 20s in this body, so,
I think
or at
so.
least
Yeah, close to 30.
sort of. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think so, Uh, so anyway, yeah, but that she still, still looks good. So I would
Hmm.
say, I'd say yes on this one, on the tuned body. What about you, Lee?
I'll go with yes.
Yes, certainly after she meets Figure Four and calms down a little bit, then just definite yes on that one. So
Starts putting her, getting her bloodlust back under control.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Oops, wrong button. Okay, now I got two bodies on here, and the reason why I have two bodies here is because they're different in a very basic way from the Imaginos 2.1 body. The Imaginos 2.0 body is more advanced, I guess, than the 1.0.
Mm-hmm.
The one on the left, to me, she almost looks childlike again. She looks like she's, like Alita that was in the doll body that now is in the Imaginos 1.0 body.
I suppose. I think
Yeah,
mostly
I mean
it's a
the way
little bit
that's
of the,
drawn there.
yeah.
Now she certainly in this body. There was I guess a reference in the manga about how she was recalling how many years it had been since she'd been in the scrapyard, with Ito.
And I was
And it would
wondering
been,
how
I
much
think,
she'd changed or something like that.
yeah, and it was like 14 years.
Wow. Yeah.
So depending on where you think her starting point, whether it was 19 or if it was 23, like the Creek thinks, she's probably in her mid 30s at this point, in terms of her general, something, now certainly she's
probably
over 300.
early to mid 30s.
Yeah, I'd say so. So anyway, but I would say that, I would say that she's a waifu in this body, in both of these bodies.
Yeah.
You know, the main thing about these two bodies, though, is if you thought getting her pissed off at you in one of those other bodies and compared it to this one, no. These two bodies right here are way more powerful than even the Berserker body, you know. You wouldn't want to piss her off in these bodies because, I mean, I think we've had streams where we've talked about her, you know, how fast she can move in these bodies. And I think in that one side story, she, you know, in the Imaginos 1.0 body, she could move near the speed of light, you know, so that would, you know, that would right there. And it can only assume that the 2.0 and the 2.1 bodies are even more or faster than that, you know. So a lot of power here, a lot more strength. But I think in this case, she's got a single-minded purpose here. You know, she's already kind of not left him emotionally, but she's left him, you know, in Alhambra while she's going up to Zalem and then eventually up to Jeru, you know. And of course, she competes in the Zot and all that. And I think
this is all, I think, to try to recover her friend Lou Collins to save her.
Yeah, that's right. Because Lou was her, I guess, her who she communicated with when she was in
she
the
was
Tuned
her
arc.
I think she was her handler while she was in the Tuned arc, and they got to be close friends.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was one of the things that was a little chilling to me when she was up in Zalem and talking to Nova when Nova, I guess, was going to help her get up to the city on the other end of the space elevator. Jeru, was it?
Yeah, Jeru.
And he basically said, I can offered to, or told her, I can help you get Lou Collins back. What would you give me in return? And she basically gets really cold-blooded and says she'd be willing to, or he asks her, would you kill everybody on Tefari's, the manga version of Zalem? In exchange for me getting Lou Collins back for you. And she ended up basically saying yes, but turns out, fortunately, Nova wasn't serious.
Yeah.
And she regretted saying that, but it was kind of a little chilling to see the look on her face when she was willing to basically slaughter every man, woman, and child on Tefari's just to get Lou Collins back.
That's kind of a strike against her being a waifu, isn't it, on that one?
Yeah, that was a little bit on the dark side there.
Yeah, I think so, you know. Now, like you say, she did regret saying it, you know, and all that, so maybe she did regain a little bit there, you know.
That is one of the things that Cameron had some notes that he made from the manga that he was putting together for the movie. Somebody posted a few of the pages online. And one of the things that the notes said is that basically she does have this rather demonic dark side, and she does fear it. Sometimes it comes out, but she tries always to keep to the her more human side.
Yeah.
But there is that dark side to her, and she does fear it herself.
Well, the fact here's I think her saving grace on that. The fact that she did regret saying what she said and that she does fear that dark side of herself, that right there tells me that she's still a human. You know, I mean, even
she
though
doesn't want to give in to all of that.
Yeah, that's right. So she's more of an android in these bodies, and certainly in the Imaginos 2.1 body, she's more of an android, you know, but she still retains all those human qualities in terms of her personality, you know. So yeah, I would vote for her to be a waifu in this body, but yeah, you know, you definitely want to approach with extreme caution, you know, around this one, you know.
Especially the way she acted towards, was it Toji? The space karate guy, the huge cyborg she went up against in the Zot.
Yeah.
Where she basically just went berserk on him. And that was after the two of them got together and had that little tea.
Yeah, that afternoon tea. That was I always enjoyed that panel because that cup she was drinking out of was as big as she was.
So it's basically funny, it's like went from that nice little, you know, sort of social get together where they basically talked like, you know, civil people, and then they get in the arena, and she's like just goes completely just psychotic on him.
Yeah. And especially when she gets that Imaginos 2.1 body, which we'll talk about that next. But yeah, she, as they would say, she got medieval on his ass is what she did. So, and he's big, you know, I mean, that guy, I mean, you know, we've had talked about streams about how big Thanos and Darkseid are. Toji's bigger than they are, you know, by a lot.
It seemed to me it's like she didn't need to completely destroy him, just defeat him, but she was determined that she was going to make him regret showing her any mercy. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's a little dark.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But that's, you know, that's her, I think that dark side is part of what makes her such an effective warrior.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about, this is one of the things I like about Kishiro's writing. It's like he examines the entire spectrum of human behavior, you know, as if to say, you know, all humans have somewhat of a dark side.
Yeah.
They have kind of a mysterious side, and they have a good side. And as a matter of fact, to recall another movie, I don't know if you ever saw that movie Cowboys and Aliens.
Yes.
There's a scene in there where Clancy Brown, you know, he played the preacher, you know, and he says, you know, he's doctoring up, I guess, Daniel Craig's character. What was his name in the movie? It was Jake Lonergan, I guess, and he was supposed to be like a really famous outlaw or something like that. And he was doctoring him up, you know, and I guess that Jake Lonergan couldn't remember. He was kind of like Alita, you know, he got abducted by these aliens, and they wiped his memory somehow.
Well, they put him through some kind of traumatic experience where he watched the woman he loves die. And that kind of ended up, his mind suppressed some of it. So he lost some of his memory there. Yeah,
he lost that. And of course, he was physically abused, you know. So anyway, but that preacher says, I've seen good men do bad things, and I've seen bad men do good things. So that's kind of similar here, you know. I mean, certainly Alita does. And this is where we were talking about earlier, you know, that Alita has her moments, you know.
Yeah. And with Luke Collins and how she was willing to, you know, kill everybody on Tafari's, it's kind of like, it's like if somebody you really loved was in danger, or you had the chance to get them back, how far would you be willing to go to do that? What would you be willing to give up for that?
And she's willing to go all the way. So, yeah, which would also speak to her perseverance and determination, you know. But yeah, she's got a dark side. I mean, she's got an extremely dark side, you know. Yeah. That but once again, since she regretted it and she's afraid of it, that kind of speaks well of her. Now, the fact that she got medieval on Toji's ass, that says, oh wow, you didn't just beat him, you wanted to kill him, you wanted to destroy him completely, you know. Yeah. So I like that thing at the end of that too, where Toji, you know, I guess he was there was this karate master that was, I don't know if he was inhabiting his body or whatever. His spirit was inhabiting his body after he basically sort of ascended, and it was I think it was a combination of he ascended to another plane of existence, and he was utilizing this dimensional technology of some kind called a D-Ripper. Yeah, that's right. And he drugged Zeka with him. You know, Zeka wanted to keep fighting Zex, and Toji, or whoever that character was, says, oh no, we're out of here. The wiki says, well, he's got two different names. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I think it's Donfua or Tunpo or something like that. But basically, the space monk. Yeah. So anyway, he and Zeka goes off to that other dimension, I guess. I thought it was really neat how Alita was carrying that guilt in the form of Colonel Payne, I guess it was. Yeah, the guy she killed who was in charge of all those child soldiers. And he had been he had kind of manifested in this kind of like a Geist, I guess, or something like that. Yep. And he was tormenting her throughout her time at the Zot.
And the monk shows up and basically just as he's about to leave, he says, "Oh, I'm going to be taking this guy with me," and grabs the Geist and takes off with him because he
Yeah.
had basically manifested into this being that he could actually interact with.
Yeah. You know, as much as Alita, I think, wanted to destroy Toji, and you know, they had that little tea service thing before the Zot, you know, before the finals. You know, I think Alita and Toji actually respected each other, a lot of their abilities. You know,
I got that
which,
impression. Yeah, I think
yeah,
Toji
you know,
respected
because
her maybe a bit more than she respected him, but there did seem to be a bit of mutual
yeah,
respect there. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. So I'm going to say that for both of these bodies, because she starts out fighting Toji in that 2.0 body, but she ends up fighting him at the end of the fight. She's in the Imaginus 2.1 body,
Mhm.
which is orders of magnitude even more powerful than either of these bodies, you know.
Yeah.
So and she still, like you said, she had these regrets, you know, and I think her heart was basically still good, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, the human side came out even at that, you know, even with all that negativity and that dark side, it still came out, you know. So
Mhm.
so yeah, I'm going to go with yes on Waifu on this one.
I
So,
agree.
yeah. Now this is the Creek's favorite body right here. The Imaginus 2.1 body, and I have to admit, it's only because it's the most powerful. And you know, I've said on other streams, and I've had a couple of friends, you know, ask me about it. I'd said a couple of times that in this body, Alita can beat Thanos in this body. You know, even if Thanos has all the stones, she can beat him. You know, now it wouldn't be a cakewalk, but she could still do it. You know,
Yeah.
and you know, the fact when she got to this body, how she just, you know, kind of just mopped the floor with Toji. You know, I mean,
And
he
everybody
didn't
else, I
stand
think, too.
yeah, I mean, they didn't stand a chance against her in this body. You
Mhm.
know, but uh, you know what? The one thing about her in this body that I really liked, now I don't want to give away the manga too much, but she had a decision to make at the end. You know,
Mhm.
and the decision she made was like she knew that, you know, she wanted to do the first one. I'm not going to say what the decision was because I want people to read it, but you know, that the decision that her heart wanted to do was not the decision she made because she wanted to go on and, you know, I guess go to first, I guess, Venus, I guess, wasn't it? And, you know, there was something, I can't remember. It's been so long since I've read The Last Order. But at some point, she elected to say, okay, I know I made this promise, you know, way back when, but things have changed now and I've got to do this other thing. And I hope things turn out for this other situation, you know, better for, you know, and I'm going to give it away if I go too much more, but I would say to me,
Mhm.
that was like, you know, she made that decision knowing, you know, she still had those feelings and she
Mhm.
still made that decision that she made, you know. To me, that tells me, you know, that she not only thinks with her heart, she also thinks with her head.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think she is very much a waifu in this body. Now, this was the most powerful of all the bodies she ever gets. I mean, she's connected to Melchizedek. She's connected to the supercomputer on Jupiter, I guess, or orbiting Jupiter, and she's connected to the singularity. I mean, holy crap! You know, I mean, that is extreme awesome power. You know, and I mean, because we've talked about, you know, if she fought somebody and
That's
she's networked
beyond
with these two
superhuman.
computers. Well, the thing of it is, you know, is that she can look at literally billions of combinations of scenarios of fighting somebody, and she can do it like within a nanosecond, you know, because she's
Mhm.
got that brain chip and she can compute this, you know. I
Yeah, with all
mean,
that processing power combined, she's got unimaginable information processing capabilities.
and not to mention the fact that she's connected to the black hole, you know, the
With
singularity.
immense amount of power, yeah.
I mean,
that thing I think
he's
had
in
enough
this-
power to wipe out. If it exploded, I think it could wipe out life on like half the planet. And
Yeah,
that was how much power the thing contained.
yeah, and it would probably affect the entire solar system, But anyway,
Yeah, very
if
possibly.
she,
Yeah.
if she fought Thanos in that body and he didn't have all the stones, he's toast. He's not going to survive
Probably.
that. And I would say the same about Darkseid. If he fought Alita and she's in this body, he's done.
Mhm.
He's not going to survive because she not only has all this power, but she can move near the speed of light. She has all this processing capability. I mean, her reaction time is going to be like way faster than his.
Yeah,
Now,
I think
this
her
is what
power
makes
would
her-
be on the order of like Superman with the speed of like the Flash. Everybody else is like at a standstill.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, yeah, she'd be immensely powerful. Yeah, Finestro, Alita was born on Mars. Now, you're going to have to read the Mars Chronicles because to say the word she was born is I guess you could say that, but it's a little
Yeah, the manga
little
is a little bit
yeah.
whacked out there on the on her
Yeah,
origins.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. But yeah, there's your comment, Lee. Yeah, as Lee says, she is a native She is a Martian. As a matter of fact, I did a video here a couple of weeks ago where, Hugo picks her up. It's that point where he says you're heavy and stuff like that, and he says, she says, "What are those things?" As after that Centurion gone by,
And he asked, "What
and he
planet?"
kind of laughs. What planet are you from? So I put a little caption about Mars.
Mhm.
So I've started on some videos putting little comments on it.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, she's a Martian, is what she
Yeah,
is.
as much as
So,
I have enjoyed Kashiro's story, I have to admit I like her origins in the movie a little better. I think they're just easier for me to relate to. The ones in the manga are interesting,
Yeah.
certainly, but a little bit, I think,
Yes.
more whacked out than I think I'm kind of
Yeah, I think so. I agree with you. I like I guess you would say the implied backstory. In other words, there's a video that I will put the link in the chat. I mean, not the chat, in the description after the stream's over, if you want to go back later and look at it. And probably everybody on this stream's looked at it anyway.
Is
but
that from the extras off the CD for the movie?
Yeah, that's right. And it's about the Great War of the Fall, and how Alita got into it, and how she was born on Mars as Yoko, and she had two parents, stuff like that. I find that a little more relatable than I do what the Kashiro put in the Mars Chronicles. I read that and I went, holy crap.
And I'm like, well, that's certainly interesting. A bit too far out there for me, but very interesting.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, yeah, Safani Song says that, yeah, she's definitely from Mars. That's right. So she's a Martian girl is what she is. You could say she's extraterrestrial. So
Yep.
because she is a Martian. So, but yeah, the Creek really likes this body a lot. And I've said in the past, and I've kind of said it inappropriately, and I was sorry about it, but I said I really like her tail, and I went, oh my God, that was wrong.
I really like
But
those wings myself.
Oh yeah, I like the wings too, and those wings are actually Damascus blades.
I was looking at that. Yeah, they've got those bladed edges to them.
And the thing of it is, she doesn't have those wings very long in the manga.
No.
It's they come off pretty
Which was
quickly.
kind of a
yeah,
pity, I think.
Yeah,
I'd
Angela
like to have
says
seen him
that,
a little bit more.
Yeah, this is Angelus's dream waifu right here. Careful, Angela. If she has those wings, you better not piss her off. So anyway, but yeah, I would say she's definitely a waifu in this body. I mean, now I would also say this is the body that she destroyed Toji in. So this body's got a dark side to it. So just be aware of that.
Yeah.
So, but it's still our girl, and she still at the end made the right decision, I think, and of course things worked out for all involved there, but So anyway, what do you think, Lee? Is this is she a waifu?
I
in this
agree very much. Yeah.
one? Yep. Okay, last but not least, and I couldn't find another really good. I mean, there was a couple of some drawings, in the manga that I kind of prefer these. Now, the one on the left there, I think, is still a cyborg body, but looks pretty human, so I put it in there.
Hmm.
But Alita does have, and the other one's just a drawing, so, and you can tell it's Alita because she's got those eyelets, underneath her eyes. But she's got a ponytail too there, which she didn't have in the movie, obviously.
Well, if she's got a human body, she can grow her hair out finally.
Yeah, that's right. So, as a matter of fact, in the novelization, when she's, in I guess in the doll body, she wonders if she could do her hair like Koyomi does, because she liked the way Koyomi braided her hair, So,
yeah, she was thinking about whether or not she'd be able to do the same thing.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, yeah, I would say definitely she's a waifu in this body because, I mean, certainly she can. As they say in the novelization, they say she can do a lot of things that other girls could do, and that's certainly true in her human body. So, but yeah, she does in the manga. She does get a human body in a couple of places. In the last order, she gets a human body, and then
it's the two different endings that Kushira
yes
put together. Yeah.
Yes.
And in both of them,
right.
basically, she gets a human body.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that one ending there, I guess it's after that, volume 2 in the book set, where, like I mentioned a while ago, how Figure 4 finds her, I guess what she's like comes out of this flower, right? Because her DNA is on the, is it on a wall or is it in the
No,
flower?
the Imaginos body that she was given by Nova in that ending. Basically, I think it basically somehow had carried her DNA in it or something like that.
Okay.
And
well, I'm talking about the. Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, and somehow it used that to basically. I can't remember what exactly it was. It was something about the interplay between her consciousness in the Zalem supercomputer and the Imaginos body itself, or something. Caused it to generate a artificial womb and grew a human body for her in it.
Yeah. And that was that flower thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, the flower of life, I think, or the tree of life, or something.
Something like that, yeah. And then there was
that
another...
was the ending that Kishiro wrote, from what I understand. He rushed it because he was having health issues.
Yes.
So he didn't get to write it exactly the way he had wanted to originally.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, he wanted to take more time with it, I imagine. So, but there was another way she got a body where it was printed.
Mm-hmm.
Remember?
They used some kind of that cloning technology of some sort.
Yeah, that exactly. They called it the biological printer or something like that.
I can't remember off the top of my head. I just remember it involved cloning technology of some kind, and that put together I think it was 2 weeks. It put together a adult human body for her.
Yeah. So wow, So anyway, but anyway, folks, read the manga. We're not going to go any deeper than that because we'll mess it up if you haven't read the manga.
Yeah.
Because I really like the ending of Mars Chronicle. I mean, not Mars Chronicles, of the Last Order.
That was a very bittersweet ending, I thought.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Yeah, I'm only going to say one thing, and then I'm not going to mess it up anymore. But there's that one panel where Ito is looking up and he says, "I wonder what happened to the other Alita," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, very bittersweet ending, that's for sure, But oh yeah, she's definitely a waifu in this body, in the human body. So she's just a regular old girl in this body, as they would say. Now she still knows Panzer Kuntz, so be careful.
Yeah, she may not be able to use all of it, but she'd be able to use enough of it, I think.
Yeah, where she could hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Okay. I guess the question is that which version is Alita the best waifu? So what do you think, Lee?
Well, I am going to, simply because of her interchangeability with her core, I'm going to eliminate the motorball body from my vote.
Yeah.
Oh, and the doll body, just because of the whole other considerations.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to say all the rest of the versions of her, particularly the Berserker and the Imaginos versions.
Yeah. Okay, so you're voting for all the Imaginos versions, right? So,
I can't really pick otherwise.
yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like Angelus he's voting for the Berserker body. Okay,
Okay.
I can dig that. So anybody else out there? We got 10 people in the chat. Anybody want to say what your favorite version is? Put it in the chat. You don't have to jump on. Well, now Angelus is waffling. Now
He's going Imaginos and Berserker too. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's going with Imaginos 1.0, I guess. So, that's okay.
And Finn also
And
finds all the
Finestro
bodies.
says all the bodies. So we're not going to come to a decision here, I think.
Well, it's kind of a decision. It's like, they're all good.
Yeah, they are.
And the Berserker there for Sophony. Sophony?
Yeah.
Sophony? Sorry if I'm getting your name wrong.
Yeah. No, that's, Berserker, okay. And Finestro likes the Berserker body too. He likes that one.
Mm-hmm.
And he likes the first body for Mito, the doll body. Okay.
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 Yeah, the doll body. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else? Okay, this is not much of a horse race, I can tell you that, because it seems like all the bodies are.
Yeah. Well, whichever body she's in, she's still Alita, so
Yeah, that's right. But I've counted 3 votes for Berserker, 2 votes for
human.
Imaginos. Oh, human. Yeah, there's a human. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Heck yeah, human. So anyway, Berserker's got 3. Imaginos got 2. Imaginos 1.0, Imaginos 2.1 has got, I guess you could lump 2.0 and 2.1 together. Imaginos 1.0 has got a vote. All the bodies have got 2 votes. Doll body's got 1 vote. Human body's got 1 vote. And Finestro also says the human body. Okay, so the Berserker's got 3, and a couple of others got 2, and everybody is saying all bodies. So to me, it looks like a draw. So there's no real single body that anybody wants to commit to on this one,
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's cool, So, I like all the bodies too. I mean, even the motorball body. Well, I like
whichever body she's in. Alita's still our favorite. So. Yeah,
exactly. So Nicandro Ramos says all bodies. So it's Finestro's choosing Erica now. Okay, Erica's not Alita, Finestro, so that's not going to work. So anyway, I guess it's going to be all the bodies, I guess. So okay. No, we're not angry with you, Finestro. It's cool. We all like all the bodies too, so it's cool. As long as Alita's core is in there, that's what Angelus is saying. Hey, he's going for it's Alita, not the body that we love, so that's cool. Yeah. Yep, I can dig that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, how 70s. Okay, I guess all the bodies works for all of us, so that's good. I agree with that, and I think Lee agrees with it, so we're good with that one.
Yep.
Did we miss anything, guys?
I can think of.
I can't think of anything, and as you can see there, Alita loves her Uncle Creek.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because he's trying to get her a sequel, I guess.
Yeah,
so there you have it. Yeah, no problem at all. So anyway, this is our queen right here, Rosa, and without Rosa, I don't think Alita would be who she is today. And if you remember from that video we played the last 2 weeks, Rosa, James Cameron, and Robert Rodriguez all love Alita. They want they want to do more Alita stuff. Robert Rodriguez if he hasn't pitched Disney already, he's going to pitch Disney pretty soon about doing an Alita series, which I would be good with that. I still want the sequel, but I'd be good with a series. There's no problem there. As long as we can get Alita
more,
out there.
more of her story and more of just more of the story. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can look at Rosa there. I'm telling you, Rosa's a pretty lady. There's no doubt about it. But you can look at her, and that you see Alita, don't you? When you see Rosa, But
they based her the movie verse Alita's face off of her features, so it's very easy to see the similarities.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the Creek thinks Rosa's number one. In terms of being an actor, and being Alita and all that stuff, and certainly it doesn't hurt that she is extremely pretty. So that helps a lot. So okay, so anyway, tomorrow I guess Radio Chaos, and I think Angelus may not make it to that one either. I think he's still sick, I guess, but he may do the news. He might do the news still, but Maxie's going to be the host tomorrow, and I'm going to be the stream manager. But anyway, it's going to be what happens on Venus stays on Venus. So yeah, kind of like Las Vegas. What happens there stays there. So and we're going to be talking a lot about that from the manga, the standpoint of that. So because certainly
that'd be good, because I can't remember a lot of details exactly what went on there.
Yeah, I don't either, really, because it's been a while since I've read the manga. But once again, Angelus, I hope you're reading the manga, because I've already read just yesterday. I read another chapter, so I'm probably 5 chapters in. So if hopefully you're reading it too, because Angelus and I get this thing going where we kind of read it parallel, and compare notes and stuff like that. So. But join us on that one. That'll be really fun, I think, talking about what happens on Venus. If you remember, Venus is whereas Jupiter's more of the technology center, Venus is more of a kind of like the human enhancement.
The Jovian colonies seem to go more towards mechanical augmentations. Yeah. And the Venusians went with the biological augmentations and genetic manipulation.
Engineering, yeah. So they're doing eugenics. And then, of course, Mars and Earth are kind of shambles of what they were. So, that's the way it works. But anyway, we're going to talk about what happens on Venus. So, all righty. So that'll be fun tomorrow, I think. So anyway, just to end this thing up, why is this image here? Well, it's here because the Creek likes it, and I'm running the stream. And to paraphrase Grishka, I am only here for our girl and the Alita Army. And of course, all of us we're here for our girl. All of us at the Alita Army. We want that sequel. We want the series. We want more Alita content. We want merch. We want it all. Kind of like that song. What is that? The Queen song. Yeah,
one by Queen. I Want It All.
Yeah, I want it all. That's exactly right. Okay, so I guess it's only you and I to say this time, I guess, Lee. But our call to action on my 3 is going to be 1, 2, 3.
Film those sequels, baby.
Sequels, baby. Okay, so anyway, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next week on the Alita live stream there.
Yep.